My name is Hadia Fathallah. I'm the Executive Director of C5 Accelerate. We're a technology, innovation, investment and acceleration firm. We have an exciting event called Partners and Allies in the Workplace, and it's really to have a discussion, an open discussion about men's role in furthering women in the workplace. His Excellency Zayed bin Rashid Zayani, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Tourism, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Chairman of Tamkeen, and His Excellency Khalid Al Ramehi, Chief Executive Officer of the Economic Development Board. So we're excited to learn from them how they've run their institutions and how they've empowered women, and hope to engage both men and women in this exciting and very important discussion. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've supported women in leadership positions, and are there specific ways that you advocate for change in the ministry?
I think when we address this issue, we have to address qualification before gender. And I personally feel that the more we start with gender, the more we're trying to say to the world that women are inferior, which I totally disbelieve in. I find from my experience in the private sector and government as well, given all things equal, I found women to be more detailed in their work, more attentive to their work, and it is no secret I'd hire a woman instead of a man. But the more I hear about gender, it's like saying that women have a handicap, which I think is something we have to clear, and that is probably the elephant in the room.
You have to respect women and their choices. And to me, I think we have enough opportunities for women who want to become successful the opportunities are there. And those who decide to stay at home, we also have to respect that decision. I have a friend who had children while she was working. She left her job. 3-4 years, both the children are in school. Now she's thinking of going back. You know, we have to find ways where it becomes easier or not an obstacle for a woman to go back to work.
I want to differentiate very clearly about, I am not complaining about the social aspects. That is not, there's no expectation. People will make friends. I will hang out with the girls that I work with more than I'll hang out with the boys. That's expected. The boys will hang out with the boys. But if this is an official work dinner, there is no reason I should be disinvited to this woman.
You were working in the wrong organization.
Exactly.
True, or the organization, or we need to help shift the culture. There has to be an adaptive change where if a woman is contributing, then she gets invited to If she chooses not to come because her kids want to sleep early or because she wants to do whatever, she can say, I don't want to come, but then she bears the burden of losing out on that opportunity as well.
I think any company that is doing that is going to drive women out, and they're depriving themselves of talent. So I think any company that is not going to ensure that it's making a comfortable environment for successful women, they're excluding 50% of the population. And I'm saying some of the most talented 50% of our population. So I don't know what else you can do.
Look, the reality is the fact that we're here means it is an issue.
Yep.
Okay, so it is better than it was 20 years ago. But this organization needs work on.
Yes.
I think if
I'm finding it difficult to answer that, because in my career or in my experience, I never excluded a female team member from a work event, whether it was social or work.
Of course, yeah.
A lot of people went to government school, and you know there could be a boys' school and a girls' school with a road in between, but they are two different worlds. يعني it's a culture thing. بس مثل ما قال أبو علي يعني وين اليوم وين قبل 20 سنة وين قبل 50 سنة. And if you look at history of women in this country, بحرينيات. They've been leaders على مستوى العالم العربي. يعني the first woman to drive, the first nurse, the first girl schooling. We have a pedigree of successful women here that we should be proud of.
you can allow flexible working hours after maternity leave, but I think it goes back down to culture. It goes back down to not what you say, but what you do. And I think it starts from the top. It starts from, I think, the minister, the CEO, the leader, of how they react to their staff. And I really believe that, at least the way I look at it, and I hear the same thing from Rashid and Ali, when we look at promotions, when we look at what we do, we are not looking at it from a gender perspective. Now, it's up to the culture, it's up to the institution to see how that reacts.
My name is Hani Abdel Jalil, Senior Manager at Hanover Reinsurance. So I believe gender parity will only be achieved if men are seen as caregivers just like women. Yes, it's a biological fact that women are the ones who carry the child, but it's not a biological
Hani, I'll
fact.
ask you to ask a question.
Yeah, we're getting there. Not a biological fact that women should be caring for the baby. So I believe, and that's a suggestion, that men should have as well paternity leave that's compulsory, where women can come back to their work earlier, because I believe women don't get pregnant by their own. I believe men are involved in the process.
Now you say it after my kids have grown up. Too late.
But thoughts on this idea? Some countries, the Netherlands and a bunch of other countries in Europe have paternity leave. So, I mean, how do we, bring this to a more level playing field?
I think it's a great point. I think Germany does this. Perhaps regulation can be introduced, but the question is, and I think that's a very valid point, and so maybe regulation, maybe laws that allow the father to fill in and get the same benefits as the woman would encourage that. But the question, I think that's unanswered, is will the law be enough? And I think that's what we need to do. Is the law going to force a change in behavior? Because I think there's also a need between the family to say that, you know what, I'm going to stay home and you're going to be the caregiver.
Yeah, but unfortunately, our culture is not the German culture.
I agree.
They take the paternity leave and they have a maid looking at the child. In Germany, the husband or the wife will take the maternity leave and attend to the child.
My son and his wife. She is in the top level in Tatweer, and she is she's in head level, and she had pregnant and she delivered. In 3 weeks, they need her. She left her daughter and she go to the work, and she's working until afternoon, and they share growing the baby. My son is taking a part because he's a businessman. He started from 10 o'clock, and then he came noontime, and then she handle that baby after 4. So it's not something, it's just sharing growing children. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. It's a great story.
But I have a question for the audience. Is there a pay gap between men and women? I know there isn't in the public sector because it is an issue in the West.
In Bahrain, I don't think.
But do women here feel there is a pay gap?
Can we have only women raise their hand first? Do women feel like that do women feel there's a wage gap? Raise your hand high if
and women who feel there is no.
Yes, high yes.
Yes, and no.
Not equal.
The fact that it's close means it's less of an issue to your point. So, you're an analyst, you're reading too much research papers from the West.
But his point about do we need to start at the educational level?
Agreed. I think, can we do more? And to me, this is the answer is yes, we've done a lot, but we can always do more.
I'm going to call on Ghada because I know she came all the way from Saudi. I totally put you on the spot.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Did you drive here?
Oh yeah, I drove here. Thank you. So this is Ghada Al-Isa from Saudi Aramco. I work in PR. I want to ask the gentleman, what's the percentage or the statistics of senior management, females holding position, whether it's a public sector or private sector you're managing? And if the percentage is low, how can you increase the percentage and make the females motivated into holding higher positions?
It's less than the overall percentage of women. I want to make sure I promote on competence.
Yeah.
So I'm recognizing that that's lower than the general average, but I'm also not going to promote, I'm not going to engineer it so that it's the same way just because I want to make the numbers work. I think women need to earn it, just like men do. I'm just going to make sure that we're not biased and we have to enforce that. We're not going to penalize a woman for taking maternity leave. I'm actually going to promote a woman this year that has just come back from maternity leave. She's been absent for 8 months. She left in December, and she's come back in August. But to me, that makes no difference to her promotion capability. But she's going to have to, she's earned it. So I don't want to say it's lower than the average, but it's lower without me feeling guilty about that because it's been based on competence.
For us, just the facts, I was just checking. 53% of Tamkeen staff were women, and 43% of management are women. It's been higher, it's been close to 50%, but it's been averaging 40 to 50%. So just to answer the fact part of the question, can we do more? I think that's it's in Bahrain and even Tamkeen's figures, so forget internally, but externally, we have more women taking advantage of training than men. And to me, this is now encouraging for the future. They are the ones who are gaining the skills and gaining. So the numbers should increase.
I will promote a person, regardless of their gender, that will ultimately result in better production or service for the organization, so I can provide a better service for my client. So we should never expect to say, when we say 43, that is a remarkable achievement. We shouldn't say, but why isn't it 50-50? Because it will never be 50-50.
There are structural realities that we just have to...
We have to take social backgrounds into consideration. We have to take different people with different upbringings, with different...
And people change, management changes.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm Khulul Al-Qattan. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a board member of Batilco. I'm a board member of Seco Financial Services Bank, and I used to be a board member of Gulf Aviation Academy. And yes, I'm a vice president of the Bahrain Businesswomen Society.
That's amazing.
Hadi, I agree with you, and I don't mind to have all men.
And she's a mother too.
I am a grandmother also. While I don't mind at all to have all men in this event, I would disagree, or not disagree, but I wish if we had 3 different men than the one we are having here. While I concur and agree and admire, and admire the 3 of them, we know that the 3 of them are the best examples and models when it comes to believing women and supporting women and encouraging women. So,
good comeback.
What I've heard from them, it's not a surprise to me. I know them all. I worked closely to them, and I know they are seeing the truth. The chance there. I have so many, but I know that that's.
Let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. If you impose a quota and a woman gets hired because of the quota, and she messes it up, she will always.
She won't.
No, not all women are successful.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay? And if she fails, she'll be branded, or women will be branded. See, she only ended up there because she was woman, and therefore they don't need to be there.
Not all women.
Let her earn it, so she respects it, she cherishes it, and she makes.
With the same concept, not all women that's been appointed in other places are qualified enough.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So we cannot say this, but having the quota, so ensuring that certain women will be and giving the chance to prove themselves.
Thank you so much. I'd again like to thank the panelists for their time. I'd like to thank Tamkeen for the support, and always to the C5 team. Without them, none of this would happen. I see Badr Sater standing in the corner, Hala Ibrahim here, and Sarah Dawadi, I'm sure is taking a picture there, and our amazing interns. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.